Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed.
Hi, friend. Welcome back to Creative Birthright. I know it has been a while, and I hope you all have been well. I hope you've been incubating creative ideas, dreaming, and planning for what you're going to create next. That's what I have been doing, and I'm really excited to share with you all soon what I have planned about where Creative Birthright is going next. But I'm not here to talk about that today. Today, I'm here to talk about something a little more personal. I want to talk about how creativity saved my life. And I admit, I can be a dramatic person. I love that about myself, but I am not speaking metaphorically. Creativity quite literally saved my life. And today, I want to talk about how it guided me and held me as I went through one of the most difficult, stressful, anxiety-filled, world-ending times in my life. So let me set the stage. Picture this. I am a decade into a career that I love, that I worked very hard to build. I am a little over a year into a new role that I had been strategically aligning myself for. And that role was really a launch pad to me getting into the final, what I saw as the final stretch to achieving my ultimate career goals. So here I am, loving the work that I do, enjoying the people that I work with, and feeling like every single day I'm making a real difference in the world. And within a space of like 6 weeks, all of that crumbles. And creativity is what kept me sane through all of the tumultuous uncertainty that I encountered on a daily basis. Around this time last year, I was laid off. And it wasn't just like a company restructured and my role was now eliminated. This was sector-wide. I worked in the international development field and it was reduced to about a tenth of its size, effectively gone. And this is because we lost USAID. And with the loss of USAID went the death of my career and an entire sector that I will be the first to admit was extremely flawed. I always pointed out how it reeked of a repackaged version of colonization, but we were doing great work. And overnight, all of that was gone. Everything that I had worked for, everything that I had built career-wise was gone. And I was left confused and not knowing what was going to happen next. And I cannot stress this enough. I love the work that I did. I held the contention between how it didn't fully align with my beliefs and how it reproduced some of the systems of oppression that I'm not a fan of. Well, I'm not a fan of any of them, but I held that contention within myself and I was always very clear that the flaws existed, but it was making a difference in the world in some very real ways. Like global health projects were literally giving life-saving medicine and aids to people who may not have survived without it. So the fact that this work was tied to a mission was keeping me showing up and enjoying the work, because I am not the type of person that's simply satisfied doing work to gain monetary gain. Don't get me wrong, what's in the bank account, what's coming in the bank account is very important, but I am motivated by work that has tied to something bigger than myself, and that's tied to creating a world that I want to leave behind for the next generation. So I was devastated with the loss of my career and the loss of the international development sector. It's not completely gone, but it will never be what it was. And maybe not never. Right now it's not what it was. I'm not sure what the future holds. And being laid off wasn't just losing a job. It was a loss of income, a loss of a career, a loss of connections. And I later learned it's also was a loss of a part of my identity. I did not realize how interwoven my identity was with my career, job title, and how much money I was making. But the loss of all of that really laid it all bare for me, because I was completely gutted when this happened. It was a period of mourning for me, and my entire life was thrown into a tailspin and I had to reevaluate everything. So in a way, it was somewhat a blessing in disguise. And I can say that now because I'm on the other side of it. But while I was in it, it did not feel like a blessing at all. But the abrupt loss of my career, it forced me to look at my life goals, what I was working towards, who I was, independent of the existence of this federal agency, independent of my career. Like, who am I without a job? Who am I without a career that's external, that I have no control over whether or not the company exists today or tomorrow? So this was very much a wake-up call. Not one that I would have chosen, but I'm grateful that it happened because I learned so much about myself on the other side of it, and it strengthened my relationship to my creative practice. Because in the middle of all of the chaos and confusion, creativity was my only constant. It was a grounding force for me. It was like my creative practice was a place for me to escape to. Creativity saved my life. The most important role creativity played for me was that it kept me present and grounded, because it's one of the only things that can't be taken from me. No matter what, I will have my creative practice. It allowed me to still feel productive. I still was able to, create many projects for myself to complete and tick things off of my to-do list. So it kept me grounded in then the present moment. And a big part of that was having this channel. So if you watched my videos last year, thank you. If you're new and watching this one now, thank you, because you are participating in my journey. And this channel gave me things to strive for. It gave me a new mission, and helped me maintain a routine. And one thing I really had to face was the fact that as Americans, we tie so much of our identity to our job, to our career, to our job title, to how much money we make, to how many accolades and achievements at work we are able to kind of rack up over the course of our career. Like, the first thing that you ask someone when you meet them is, what do you do? What's your job? What do you do for work? And for one of the first times in my life, I suddenly could not introduce myself that way. So in that regard, losing my job and my career meant losing a part of my identity. And not fully, now that I'm saying that out loud, I think what it really meant was that I had to reimagine that part of myself and integrate it into a bigger identity. I am so much more than my job title, and no longer having it meant I had to face that reality. And it was something that, if you ask me on a surface level, I would tell you, yeah, I'm more than my job. That's not the biggest part of my identity. But it wasn't until I lost my job that I could truly see with clear eyes that I was making my job too much of my identity. It was like taking the front seat. And I'm so much more than that. I did not come here to labor in this way. That's not what my destiny is. I love my work. I still enjoy working. The job that I have now, I very much enjoy that. It's still mission-driven work. It just was a reality check that what I came here to do is so much bigger than sitting at the computer every day, typing away and sending emails. No, that's not all that I do, but you get what I'm saying. My creative practice gave me the tools and space that I needed to reimagine my identity, to reimagine who I am and who I can be. So in the future, I'm still working out what I'll say when asked who I am or what I do, or asked to introduce myself. I'm not going to lead with my job anymore, but I've just been reflecting more on what is my identity? Who am I outside of a job? And I've been reminded that I contain multitudes. There are so many different parts of me, and it's all me. And it's all beautiful. So I have reminded myself that I am curious about life. I am someone who is dedicated to living life on their own terms. And my grandmother told me something very beautiful today that really affirmed this for me, but she basically said that I challenged the status quo, and she loves that about me. And I am living out parts of herself that she maybe didn't fully live out. So that just made me even more excited and re-energized about getting to know and fully embracing all the parts of my identity. Another part of myself that I love is that I'm a connector. I love bringing people together and creating community and spaces for people to have beautiful and loving experiences together. I love searching and finding the meaning in things. I don't like to just live on the surface. I like to go beneath and explore all of the depths. And I'm a Pisces, so I'm a dreamer. I am someone who has visions and brings them to life. And first and foremost, I'm a creator. And that's the reason why we're here, creative birthright. I mean, it wouldn't be right if I did not point out the fact that I am a creator. And after having this experience, I am even more confident and better equipped to step into and own my title as a creator. Another thing that I want to talk about is how creativity kept me mentally and emotionally grounded because, baby, I was depressed. And I'm not ashamed to say that because I think it's a very natural reaction to your life being thrown into a tailspin, to your life being completely decimated and everything changed and you not knowing what's going to happen next. So that's a natural reaction. But I still had to manage my emotions and be able to stay in the present moment and keep moving forward because even though I did not know what the future looked like, I knew I had to keep working towards the future that I wanted. So creativity helped me to stay grounded and in the present moment and not spiraling. Writing gave me a space where I could really create a whole nother world and get lost in building that world and building those characters. And if I was lost in my writing, I was not here. It's very easy for me to just really ruminate around all the things that could happen and just get lost in my anxiety. So creativity helped me by keeping me grounded. It allowed me to focus on today. And I could say to myself, okay, today my bills are paid. I have food in the fridge. My light's on. Wi-Fi is working. I have everything I need right now. And that's a mantra that I always repeated to myself. There's 2 affirmations I, over the years, have always repeated to myself. The first one being, I have everything I need all the time. And the second one being, all my needs are met and all my desires are fulfilled. And when I was saying that in prior years when I had a job, I didn't have to worry about my bills being paid because I had the money for that. Saying that was affirming, but I had something tangible to hold on to know that that was a fact. But losing my career, losing my source of income, and still being able to say those affirmations and stay in the present moment when it was a fact and not worry about the future, that was grounding for me. And creativity helped keep me in that present moment. And that actually leads me to kind of my next lesson learned is that this experience completely reshaped my relationship with money, but in a positive way. And you might be thinking, now, that doesn't make any sense. So let me tell you how this works. So even though I went from having a very healthy salary to no income, my relationship to money got better because in this period of time, my faith was affirmed and solidified in the fact that I will have everything that I need all the time. I was shown in real time how no matter what, God, my ancestors, the universe, my community has my back. I'm covered. I don't have to worry about how my needs will be met. I experienced so many random acts of abundance. I received additional money from a settlement that I settled like maybe 2-3 years ago. They're just calling me up saying, hey, we have an additional check for you. I'm like, yes, please, thank you. I received a refund for something that I did not initiate. I'm not going to correct it. I'm just going to be grateful for the abundance. And this time perfectly aligned with me receiving funds from one of my employee stock option plans. And this is something that I knew was coming, but I have forgot about it. but it came exactly when I needed it. And people in my community also supported me in ways that I did not expect. And throughout all the entire experience, I had money coming from places known and unknown. So now, today, I am 100% confident that I will always have what I need. I'm still getting back on my feet financially, but the stress of paying bills has completely disappeared because I just spent a whole year not having an income but still paying my bills. So in hindsight, it made my relationship to money and to paying bills and all of that so much better because it removes the stress factor. Like nothing can stress me out more than unemployment did. So I am good when it comes to money related stress. And I know that the money that I need, I will always have it. And another money related lesson I uncovered was that I was tying my self-worth to my career and my salary. And this period gave me the opportunity to unpack and unlearn that. My value is not reflected in how much money I make. I am so much more than my annual salary. And if I'm being honest, I don't think anyone can ever pay me enough for the value that I bring by being here on this planet. And I'll say that for everyone. Like, I think everyone should feel that way, that they bring a level of value, their existence has a level of worth that they can never be adequately compensated for. And this experience made me really both face that and believe and internalize that as truth. And as a result, I also rewired or reprogrammed the way that I look at work. What is completely evident to me from this period is that I cannot be dependent on 9 to 5 work. I have to diversify the ways in which I make money and open up more pathways for abundance to find me. So it's become a non-negotiable that I have to start a business. And it's really pushing me in ways that I needed to be pushed in because I have so many journal pages full of business ideas. I could hand out business ideas every day and have no shortage of them. That's how much I dream and imagine and build things in my mind. But I need to be building those things in the world and making them tangible, bringing them to life. And this experience has given me the motivation and the fire that I need to put the work behind making that a reality. Because at this point, I have lost all trust and faith in a job, in a career. Because if you would have told me last January 2025, if you told me that US aid wouldn't exist today, I would look at you like you were crazy. I wouldn't believe it, but that is the reality. So the only thing that I can guarantee its existence is the things that I create. So I am even more dedicated to bringing to life all the things I've imagined. So be on the lookout for some of my upcoming projects. I won't talk about those now, but when they're ready to be shared, you will be the first to know. And the last thing that I want to talk about is, like, throughout all of this, my imagination has been the star of the show because it allowed me to focus and dream up and live in my mind the life that I want to create for myself. Not just the circumstances I was surviving, it took me out of that. It took me into the future life that I was giving birth to. And that gave me hope because as I've said before, I did not come here to this earth, to this space and time to work a 9 to 5. Yeah, I enjoy my job. I enjoy my work, but that was never the full plan. And creativity gave me the tools I needed to navigate this change in this season of my life, to refocus and ground myself and create a plan for ensuring that I fulfill my destiny while I'm here. and that I get to experience all the things I want while I'm here in this life. And if you are watching this and you find yourself in a season where something has collapsed, be that a job, a relationship, a plan, or even a version of yourself, I want you to ask yourself, what part of me is still here? What part of me cannot be taken away? Because if I look back at all the lessons I shared, all of my reflections, those two questions is what helped me to develop my personal North Star and ground me and help me recommit myself to my destiny, because that is my foundation. That is your foundation. That is your birthright. All right, that's all I have for you today. If this story resonated with you, if you're rebuilding, if you're reimagining your life, who you are, who you want to be, if you're learning how to disentangle your identity from your career or your job, subscribe. Join me on this journey. Let's learn and grow together. Join this community, because this space is for people who are brave enough to rebuild, to restart, to reimagine who they are when what they know disappears and when the plan falls apart. And I'll leave you with this. My creative practice didn't just give me something to do. It wasn't just projects and busy work to keep my mind occupied and keep me busy. It gave me myself back. It helped me create and rebuild parts of me that I had lost and reimagine parts of me that had to be reimagined as I was grieving the loss of my career. And I think that was the most important work of all. Thanks to creativity, when my whole world fell apart, I was able to come back to myself, to come home to myself, and come home to my destiny. All right, friends, I'll leave you with that, and I will see you in the next video.